عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بالإحرام سيد الشهداء أبي عبد الله الحسين وجعلنا من المنتزمين بمصابهم مع إمامهم منصورهم من آل محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. The sawab of this lecture I dedicate to Sayyidah Bibi Zainab Salamullah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. صلوات. This is one of the literature from the majlis of Aga Mir Baqri in regards to the discussion about Imam Hussein alayhi salam and Karbala. What makes the event of Karbala the most memorable and the most important event in the history of Islam, and why is it considered as an event that saved Islam? This is how he presented the scenario. Every prophet has been through testing times and tribulations, and most of the tests the prophet had to go through, Shaitan was involved in them, directly or indirectly, through men or jinn. The greatest of evidences where Shaitan was involved directly is that of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he alayhi salam was taking Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam for the Sibha. Another example is that of Hazrat Ayyub alayhi salam, where again the Shaitan was involved with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and in this scenario. The Mal'un caused all possible harm to Hazrat Ayyub alayhi salam, and he alayhi salam stayed patient till the end. While indirect involvement is at every place where the people or jinn were against the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like in the case of Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam, when his brothers alayhi salam tried to kill him or sold him. The whole and sole purpose of the Shaitan was to make the prophets commit a sin. If not a sin, at least a tarke awla, which will result in degradation of their status. In the case of Hazrat Ayyub alayhi salam, whom we consider to be among the most patient one, he alayhi salam was patient all the way till the end. However, at the end, he alayhi salam prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and said, I cannot take it anymore, and I cannot be patient anymore. This is precisely the most important point in the event of Karbala, where till the end, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam did not say, I cannot take it anymore, or that my patience is running out, or make it stop. In the event of Karbala, all restrictions were taken away from Shaitan. Shaitan was given absolute power of influence over people and jinn. Shaitan, with all his capacity, was ready with the army of Yazid lanatullahi alayhi. Shaitan was in full throttle. He did everything he could. The opposition army was so much under influence of Shaitan that they were blinded from the apparent truth. Imam Hussein alayhi salam knew the end of the war right from the beginning. He knew how the war would end, And what will be the end result of his friends, children and family? However, the big question was, what will be Imam Hussein alayhi salam's performance like? Shaitan, with his absolute capacity against Sayyid al-Shuhada alayhi salam and his absolute ita'at for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The war begins and Shaitan starts playing his cards one by one. On the other hand, Imam Hussein alayhi salam bows his head to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember, there are two ways to give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One is that you give and you show that you gave, or you say that you gave, or you give unwillingly, but you give and you expect something in return. Two, you give with absolute love and do not expect anything in return. You give because everything belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All his friends and slaves are martyred. Sayyid al-Shuhada's face was glowing with glory. Then came the turn for his alayhi salam's family. One by one his sons, his brothers and cousins fell to the ground and were martyred. His alayhi salam's face only grew brighter with the love and ita'at for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But he never said, I do not have patience or I give up. Even when little Yaskar alayhi salam was martyred in his hands, he turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and said, it is only because you are a witness to this event that makes it easy for me to bear it. As the day moved towards Zuhr, Shaitan's trying harder and harder to break the Imam, who was making the martyrdom of each of his beloved tougher, bloodier and brutal, and Imam persisted in his ita'at towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaitan and its shaitaniyat at its peak, and Imam and his ita'at at its peak. The time for the final battle arrived. Imam alayhi salam steps into the battlefield. The whole alam is in fear with the beauty of Imam Hussein's alayhi salam's performance, his patience, his love and ita'at for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The intensity of his alayhi salam ita'at and love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shakes all the heavens and the earth. Finally, Imam is wounded brutally. Hurmala shoots an arrow to his forehead. He alayhi salam falls to the ground. He collects the sands and prostrates to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and says, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdih. I submit to your will and command. Shaitan does not let the opportunity pass, but provokes the army to attack the tents and the women of the Imam. Imam alayhi salam, with whatever strength left, gets up and says, I am still alive. You are to fight me. Leave the tents and the women alone. Again, the Imam does not break or commit even a single act which can be considered as a tarki awla. Imam Hussein alayhi salam gave and gave and gave with pure love and ita'at. There was not a single instance which can be pointed out as a flaw or tarki awla in the actions of Sayyid al-Shuhada alayhi salam. The heavens were trembling, the angels were fear-struck and crying. They begged to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this stop. They couldn't understand the level of Imam alayhi salam, submission and love. They were baffled. They fell in sajda and begged Allah to make it stop. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed them the future and said, there will be an avenger for the blood of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Imam Mahdi ajjallahu ta'ala farjahu will come and avenge the blood of our Imam. This calmed the angels. In the battlefield, nobody dared to come closer to the Imam. The delay was also a tactic of Shaitan. to cause the Imam to give up and submit. But Imam's face grew brighter and brighter with nur and glory. Finally, when the head of our Imam alayhi salam was severed, Shaitan knew he lost the battle. Shaitan, with all his capacity and force, could not cause Imam to do an act which could be considered as an instance of lapse for Imam. Apparently the war ended. However, the Shaitaniyat was not over. Shaitan turned towards the children and the women. The army raided the tents and looted the jewelry and anything precious. The army was such under great influence of Shaitan that they were shedding tears and looting the tents. With all his savageness, Shaitan had wreaked a havoc on the women and children of Abu Abdullah. However, the children were equally patient. The army was instructed to ridicule the family and insult them as much as they can. So the army did not give any food or water to the women or children, and were hoping that the children would beg for food or water. When the children remained patient, the army men lost control and would beat up the children for not begging for food. But the children were from the family of the Holy Prophet. Many died but did not play to the tunes of Shaitan. This is what makes the event of Karbala the greatest of all events, where Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his family performed a wajib jihad that nobody else in history of mankind ever performed, nor will ever perform. It was ibadat at its peak. It was an ibadat with absolute love and submission. It was the event of Karbala. There cannot be another Sayyid al-Shuhada. There cannot be another Hazrat Zainab. However, the war is not over. The war is still on between the lovers of Hussein alayhi salam and those under the influence of Shaitan. They did whatever they could, but could not get the Imam to fall to his knees and beg for anything. This is the reality of Karbala. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم.